continues to write that Dallas may not win more than one more game the rest of the season. Shannon, how do you explain what went wrong for this team?
And if that's true, let's just say there's someone on this side of the table that wouldn't be terribly disappointed if they just won one more game the rest of the season.
How about no more games?
And I just want to know all the Cowboys. I got some friends that are Cowboys fans, and now all of a sudden they don't want to talk to me, Skip. They won't answer my call. I'm talking to you, Carl Lee Booker. This team bought into their own hype. Skip, year after year, you read the stat. Pro Football Focus says this is the most talented team. This year, Pro Football Focus said they had the 6th most talented roster team. They had the 3rd most talented offense, 15th best defense. And what the Cowboys do and what Jerry has always done, Skip, he went with recognizable names. Let me get the big names. Emerson Griffin, I want him. Dante Poe, I want Dante Poe. Jerry McCall, I gotta get him, gotta get him. That's what he does every single year, not knowing, okay, yeah, these are big names, but are they going to fit with what Mike Nolan's going to really be trying to do? Nah, but I just need the name. As long as I got the name, people will recognize the name, they'll watch the Cowboys. Okay, get that. Also, Jerry does not realize, or he's starting to realize now, that a value for a player, especially a player of Dak, does not just resonate on the field. You see how this team is completely falling apart in the locker room, Skip. It's things like that Tom Brady and Peyton Manning has always gotten credit for, that you're starting to see. You know what? Dak was the de facto leader of this team.
Not de facto. I mean, he just flat out was.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was the guy. He was the glue that held this thing together. And sometimes you have to pay extra for that. So if you pay Tom Brady $30 million a year, let's just say you give him $30 million. You probably should pay him $40, because that extra 10 was because he's going to hold it together in the locker room, and problems that would normally arise that the coach would have to deal with, it never makes it. That's what the real leaders do, Skip. They make sure the coach, there are certain things the coaches should never have to hear about, because the leaders take care of that before it ever makes it up to the second floor. Nah, that's not what Jerry did, Skip. You cannot use injuries, because there are a lot of teams that beat the hell.
Agreed.
Skip, is there anybody more beat the hell than the Eagles? With 3 receivers, their entire offensive line, their running back. Now, granted, they still have Wentz in there, but I don't know how he come back and play every single week with all the hits and the sacks that he's been taking. Skip, at some point in time, we got to stop blaming the coaches. And I don't, like I said, I don't really know Mike McCarthy. Some say he's a great, but Aaron Rodgers seemed to have soured on him. It seemed to have got stagnant the last couple of years in Green Bay, and they wanted to move in a different direction. But, Skip, I want to show you something last night. There was a play last night in the Rams game. And if I'm not mistaken, this is a brand-new defensive coordinator. And they had no offense because Wade Phillips was there. I want you to watch this play on 4th down. And I want you to watch Jalen Ramsey. I want you to watch Lewis. I want you to watch how they do this. Can we, Jim, we have that? Now, this is Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey is a 200-pound. He takes on a tackle, a 320-pound tackle. It's called setting the edge. In lay terms, it's called containment. He says, I refuse to give up my outside shoulder. You will turn this ball back inside. Lewis is right there fighting the tight end over the top, and you watch the safety hit it. Simple as that, Skip. What's your responsibility? Jalen Ramsey says, I am not giving up my outside shoulder. Lewis says, I'm going to continue to fight over the top. Safety says, I'm coming down here right now. A 4th and 1 turned into a -2-yard game.
Quick question. Did the Cowboys have a Jalen Ramsey?
No, Skip.
Do they?
Skip, you know what? In a situation like this, it's not about who you have. It's displaying your responsibility. If you got contained, you don't let your outside shoulder you don't let your outside arm get caught. If that's your responsibility, that's it, Skip. Because what are cornerbacks known for? Man, that joker's going to tackle. Man, he ain't trying to get mixed with it. He's trying to get picks. Jalen Ramsey says, I got a responsibility. Normally, when a tackle pulls, DBs hit the ground, they try to cut his legs out from under. But Jalen knows if I do that, he's going to keep to the edge. He's going to get the first down. He says, no, I'm going to stand my ground. That's what you have to have, Skip. You have to have players that's willing to accept responsibility and do their job. You can't say, Skip, this defense doesn't fit my personality if you don't hit your gap. If you don't do I can't say, Skip, man, you know, this Ravens offense don't fit my skill set. If I drop a pass, if I blow an assignment, I can't use that as an excuse. That is the difference in what you're seeing now, Skip.
Yet, last night, speaking of, I saw the great Jalen Ramsey twice get smoked by a rookie receiver where he bid on a stutter go. And I'm like...
And he bid on the out and up.
Yeah, and what if Nick Foles has just a half second more?
That's Nick Foles. That's Nick Foles. Nick Foles, the only Nick Foles.
Wait, you mean the Super Bowl MVP Nick Foles, who played 2 of the greatest playoff games you've ever seen? That guy?
Yeah, that guy.
You give him one more second, and that ball is on the money.
But the really good ones, Skip, they make that.
By the way, how great was Jalen Ramsey just a week ago at San Francisco when they trailed 21-6 in the second quarter?
Skip,
I'm just asking.
Skip. Okay. I'm just talking about their instances.
Okay. And you're right about all those. But I can't put any credence in any one of them because this team from the start, from the game against Jalen Ramsey out here to open the game, the seasons, on Sunday Night Football, this team started quitting on its new head coach and especially its new defensive coordinator.
If you just got to the season, you the first game and you quit already?
It was already happening in camp practice when nobody on defense could figure out what Mike Nolan was trying to teach them. He kept changing. Let's do that. No, let's do that. No, I think today let's try this. He seemed overmatched. There was a series, like a parade of veteran DBs, especially safeties, who just said, I don't know what he's talking about. Clinton Dix clashed with him right away, and they cut him for Mike Nolan because Mike Nolan's a guru. He's been around this league for 30 years coaching defense. And then Brandon Carr, not a great player, but he'd started every game he had ever played in this league, every game, including all 16 games, for the Ravens last year. He clashed with Mike Nolan early, and they whacked him and sent him on his way. You can't tell me that Earl Thomas wouldn't have helped this team, and I got all the baggage, and you're dead right about all that, and maybe it would have been too much, but I'm talking about desperation here. Would Earl Thomas have helped this defense? You know he would have because it's the worst defense potentially in the history of pro football. Well, Mike Nolan, trust me, he was first in line to say, Jerry, no, I don't want to coach that guy because he's got ties to Baltimore. He knows where all the bodies were buried with Earl Thomas. He wanted no part of that. So Mike Nolan wanted to be the dictator of the defense. You're going to do it my way or the highway. And a lot of players after 2 weeks said, we'd rather be on the highway. Most of the negative quotes, I'm sure probably all of them, came from the defensive side of the ball. Now, quickly to your point about Dak. I love Dak Prescott. And you're right. He's the unquestioned leader of the locker room, the huddle, the franchise. And they do miss that steady sort of guiding hand, just that. We can figure this out. Let's not overreact to this. Shannon, Dak Prescott, in his last 17 games before he unfortunately, knock on wood, got hurt, I hope he bounces back quickly, he was 6-11 as the Cowboys starter in his previous 17 games. And he was the starter on opening night when they fell quickly behind to the Rams 7-0. Opening drive, the Rams went 75 yards in 7 plays, and it was 7-0. Isn't that just sort of the theme of the whole season? Atlanta, they fell behind 20-0 after 1 quarter and were down 29-10 at half. And you know that miracles had to happen for them to win that game. Then at Seattle, they're down 30-15 in the 3rd quarter. They almost rallied, but Dak couldn't quite get them home. And then the Browns, they were down 41-14 in the 3rd quarter. That's unacceptable. That's just wrong. And then finally, the Giants, while Dak was still afloat, they fell behind 17-3 early in that game. It's just wrong. The Giants are the Giants, and they were really bad at that point. They're starting to try to figure some things out. They were just bad. And then Arizona, obviously, they fell behind quickly. It was 21-3 after a quarter. It was 31-3 in the 3rd quarter. It was abysmal. It was an embarrassment, and then you know what happened at Washington.